So here we go. Worksheet 8C, number 1. The first thing we're going to do to solve this equation is we need to get x alone, right? So here's x where I'm underlining. I need to get rid of what's least attached to it on that side. So what is least attached? The -3, the +3, or the 7? Jordan says the -3. Exactly. So to undo that, we have to add 3. Now remember, you're going to show your work nice and neatly. You're going to show that you're adding 3 to both sides. That's going to cancel out the -3, and I'm left with 3/7 x equals, and always double check your negatives and positives. -9 plus 3 is -6. Okay? Take your time with that, because if you do that one wrong, then no matter how great you are, right, the rest will be wrong. All right, so now we get to this point, and this is the point where sometimes people get confused. What can I do here?
Multiply by -7.
Close. Do I need a negative? Who's at home saying something?
Me. I said cross multiply.
Close. But yeah, we're going to use the reciprocal, okay? So we're going to multiply by 7/3. If I do that to the left side, I must do it to the right side. So to undo those fractions, we use that reciprocal, right? To divide, we really multiply by the reciprocal. So that left-hand side, those will cancel out. You're just left with the x. And on the right-hand side, we really need to make that like -6/1. And now we go right across. -6 times 7 is -42. And 1 times 3 is 3. From here, what do we try to do? Actually reduce, right? It's saying for -42 divided by 3. Does that go in evenly? It does. And a negative divided by a positive will always give you a negative. So here's our answer. Okay, make sure we are writing these down. All right, let's go down to number 3, right? We're doing all the odds together. Number 3. A property here. Distributive. So for number 3, 1 second. For number 3, if we're using the distributive property, we are going to do exactly what that says, distribute. So we distribute 3 to everything in the parentheses. So 3 times 6 is 18. And then 3 times -y, what will that give me? A positive or a negative?
Negative.
Negative, and 3y. We don't distribute to the other side, right? The other side, it's on its own. Now that we distributed, we just try to get y alone. So what's least attached? The 18 or -3? 18. It's a positive 18, so we undo that with subtraction. Now be careful here. When we move that 18 over, make sure you don't drop a negative sign, right? The 18s cancel, but we're still left with -3y on that left-hand side. And what will we get on the right-hand side? So it's saying -21 minus 18. So we're at -21 and getting even more negative. So we combine those and get -39. Last but not least, divide by -3, right? Don't forget that negative sign. So y equals a negative divided by a negative. I don't think everyone has these rules memorized based upon your test. So what's a positive 13? Okay, make sure we know our positive and negatives. Any questions so far? All right, let's keep on going. Let's go down to number 5. So We have M we're trying to get alone. What do I get rid of first, the 10 or the 6? The 10. Good. So it was a positive 10, so I subtract 10 from both sides. 15 minus 10 is 5. And on my right side, we just have M over 6. What operation is that currently? Division. So as Tim's saying, we're going to multiply. So I'm going to multiply by 6. And if I do that to the right side, I must do it to the left side. 2 positives, so 6 times 5 is 30. And the 6 over here cancel, and 30 equals M. How are we doing? Anyone have any questions up to this point? All right, so you should have 3 of them written down now and 3 of them written correctly. If that's not the case when you submit, I know you're not paying attention, right? So we should have these odds 1, 3, and 5 done. Let's keep on going now to number 7. So for number 7, let's distribute, right? Distributive property. So we're going to leave the 32 as is, but we're going to distribute that -4. So -4 times -5. X, negative times a negative is a positive, and 4 times 5 is 20, and don't forget the X. And then distribute to the 7. So -4 times 7, positive or negative? Negative, different signs, good. And that gives us -28. Okay, now we get the X alone. What do I get rid of, the 20 or the 28? Good. By using what operation, Jake? What? I bet you do. You did a great job with these before. How do we undo -28? What would we do? Add, yeah. So plus 28. So 32 and 28, 2 and 8 makes 10. Carry the 1, and 1, 3, and 2 makes 6. So 60 equals 20x, because the 28's cancel. And now what operation? Good. 60 divided by 20 is 3. All right, everybody take a moment right now and do number 9. Okay, and then we're going to go through it. But do number 9, and in the private chat, go ahead and type your answer. See what we get. And you do get a fraction. So this one has a little bit of a trick to it. All right, so I'm seeing a variety of answers. So let's check that. okay? So we're first going to distribute, right? So we do 4 times 3 is 12. And then 4 times negative 2x is what? Negative 8x. Okay? Check that. Make sure you had those signs correct. Now, to get x alone, I need to move the 12. It's a positive 12. And I think some people may have thought it was a negative. It's a positive 12. So to undo positive 12, we need to subtract 12. I think a lot of people added 12 and got a 20 because I see a popular answer showing up. Look at the question in classes. Why is it to the very beginning? What does this, where I'm putting an arrow, what does that number right there say? Does that say 12 or negative 12? 12. Where I just put an arrow says 12, right? There's a negative after it, but that negative goes with the 8. So this 12 is positive. So how do I undo a positive? We use a negative. So that's why I'm going to subtract 12. I know there's a minus sign after, but again, that minus sign is with the 8, not with the 12. So now those 12s will cancel. Like I said, that minus sign sticks with the 8. So we have negative 8x. And then 8 minus 12 gives me negative 4. Now we divide through by negative 8. So we have x equals, tell me about my answer, positive or negative? Positive, because the same signs, right? Two of the same signs, negative divided by negative will give me a positive. So I'm going to get a positive, and I'll first write it like this. I'll first get positive 4/8. But, and Caitlin, kudos to you. You had that. I think you were the only one at that chat. But then what can I do with 4/8? Simplify, right? Both of those are divisible by 4. So 4 divided by 4 is 1, and 8 divided by 4 is 2. So we get x equals 1/2. Which Moses, woo, you got that right. Congrats, Moses. And then Kate, you were close. Any questions? All right, let's continue with the odds of our plotting, which I think most people are pretty good with. So our coordinate plane, remember we always do our x's and then our y's. I'll highlight our x is the horizontal axis and our y's are our vertical axis. So the first thing we need to do is for number 11 is tell us what is the ordered pair for A. So I'm just going to highlight. Here is A. So I look at the x value. It is negative 4. And then I went up 1. So that ordered pair is negative 4, 1. Let's do the odds. Who can tell me 13? What is the ordered pair for C? Here is C. Who wants to share that with us?
0, negative 2.
0, negative 2. Very good. Okay. It's okay that it's on that axis. That x coordinate is 0, and then I go down 2. 15. Let's hear from somebody else. What is E's ordered pair?
4, 8.
4, 8. Yes, very good. X at first is 4 and then up 8. All right, now let's do the opposite. Let's plot a point. I'll use a different color just to make it clear. So number 17, G, is 1, 4. So I go over to 1 on the x-axis and up to 4 on the y. So here is G. So our question is, always go over. X is first. So we go right or left first, and then up or down to the y. Okay, always x first and then y. And we'll do 19 together, which is j. So -5 on the x, so we go over to -5. And then +5 for y, so up 5. So this is j.